What's up, guys? Once again, it is mp4podcast.com, bringing you guys some of the most interesting video game news that you guys really do need to know about. Now, I'm going to leave this link in the description box of this video in case you guys just want to read up on it. Now, I was a little blown away by this, but Nintendo valued as bigger company than Sony. Now, when you think about Nintendo as of right now, they don't seem to be the hot new company on the block. You know what I mean? Even though I know they've been around for like 30 years, or actually 100, you know, if you go back to when they were making card games and, little kid games and stuff back in the 1920s or something like that. But as of right now, the Wii U is not selling that great. It did sell pretty well during Christmas. I think maybe right around a week before Christmas or somewhere around there. Nintendo did sell about 100,000 Wii U's, and that's pretty good because the system is in a slump. I don't really quite know. We're going to have more data on the Wii U coming January and February, and hopefully Nintendo can get more systems out there with Donkey Kong, Mario Kart Racing, and so on, and they can get more Wii U's into homes and so on. But as of right now, the Wii U, it's in a little bit of a slouch. Third-party support hasn't been the greatest on the Wii U. First-party titles, yes, have been really good. And, third-party titles that are exclusive, like Lego City Undercover, have done really well. Bayonetta 2 is going to do really well. X from Monolith Studios is going to do really well. But overall, the Wii U hasn't been as engaging with consumers as, Xbox or PlayStation and so on. But Nintendo is making all their money with the Nintendo 3DS, the successor to the Nintendo DS. Now, let me just say this about the 3DS. The 3DS is a great system. I have a 3DS, and I really do enjoy it. And right now I'm playing Lego City Undercover, and I love Lego City Undercover. And one of the things I think that's a little bit more appealing to, than owning a PS Vita, even though I do own a PS Vita, is when the games are a little bit more cheaper. Price is always a factor when people are making buying decisions. It's a little bit smaller. And some games are geared toward more kids, so parents are going to buy that, and a lot of adults buy portable gaming systems as well. But a lot of adults have moved over to mobile gaming. So, I'm not trying to sugarcoat this at all, but the 3DS, when it first came out, it really wasn't selling that great. I mean, the sales were pretty bad. And then after about, I can't remember, 4 months, 6 months, Nintendo dropped the price by $80. And if you owned one before, you were an ambassador, where they gave you a bunch of Super Nintendo and 8-bit games as well, so to kind of make up that difference, because they said, well, people were mad because they bought it early and so on. But also, one of the reasons why Nintendo is doing so well is that China has just lifted the embargo for video game consoles, so Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo can now sell their consoles there. And the 3DS is probably going to be the most affordable console for people in China, and that's the console they are probably going to buy. And another thing that a lot of people probably don't even talk about really why the 3DS is probably the most successful console maybe as of right now, or I don't know, maybe it's sell 20, 30 million units. I'm not really quite sure, but there's another point that people really just don't bring up, is that the Nintendo 3DS, I was going to say the Wii U by accident, but the Nintendo 3DS, out of all the consoles that you can buy right now in the store, besides maybe the Wii, the first Wii, I don't know, maybe it is a little bit weaker than the Wii. It is the weakest console of them all. That does not mean that it's a bad thing. No, just hold your horses right here. Well, let me explain this. As it's being the weakest console, it is also the fastest console to produce software for. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but the guy who makes Gran Turismo for the PlayStation. When Gran Turismo was on PlayStation 1, and it went over to PlayStation 2, he talked about the modeling of the cars, how many polygons it takes to model a car. And he said, for the PlayStation 1, it took a graphic artist about 3 days to maybe model a Jaguar or a Ferrari or a Corvette or a Mustang. But when it went over to the PlayStation 2, it took a bump of about, I don't know, I think he said 3 weeks, or maybe it was like, I was like, wow. I mean, that much longer? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to model things. I played around with like Lightwave and 3D Studio on somebody's computer. I think I made a circle or something. I mean, I can't model to save my life in 3D programs. But I understand the more graphics that you add into a game, it's going to take more modeling and more shaders. Now, the thing is that software does play an important part. Like the software programs that the artists use, they do make it easier for them to work quicker, maybe for wrapping textures or whatever. 3D Studio, Maya, all those programs, they're also involving to making things work better. Just like let me give you an example of what I'm kind of talking about. Back in the old days, when people would make a CGI movie, they had to put like check marks on the make-believe screen. They had to tell the character, okay, you need to walk over here, and then they would have to like timestamp it and then have it render out. But now we use motion capture. Okay, it's faster. You have people that wear these black suits and the black caps, and they have these little white dots all over their face, and they have these 3D infrared cameras, and they're filming them. They do that because it's faster. So there are new tools being designed to make their jobs more easy. So another thing I do want to talk about Nintendo before I end this video is I am a little bit optimistic, or I don't really quite know where the future of Nintendo is going to be. I will say this about Nintendo 3DS. The software that comes out for the 3DS is phenomenal. It is really, really good. Now, the software that comes out for iOS and Android is also very good. There are some companies that really do put out phenomenal software for iOS and Android or other smartphone devices. Square Enix put out a bunch, I think 2 or 3 really good RPGs. Gameloft was doing really good, but they seemed to go free-to-play model, and I'm not really that big of a fan as I was of them before. But I still do like Gameloft. There's been a few other companies that do make good software for iOS. But it seems that there's so many apps out there that, some apps, some games that are really great, maybe they'll get 10,000 downloads or 20 or 30,000 downloads, and they're only charging 99 cents or, $2.99 or whatever the case may be. Maybe they make 100,000, maybe they make 50,000. It's a very small team. They're not really making a lot of money. When you make a game for the Nintendo 3DS, on the other hand, your markup you could be making $10, okay, for selling a game that's $40 or so on. And more people seem to be talking about maybe those games on message boards, on YouTube reviews, and so on. And I think that's where the more money gets pumped into making better games for the 3DS than mobile games. Now, this could change in the near future. Who knows what's going to happen? But I want to say one thing about mobile games. It's not as easy to get a mobile device as a 3DS for small kids or people who don't have credit cards and those types of things. You can get an iPod Touch, yeah, $300. I think there's a $200 model or so on, but then it's outdated within 2 years. On Android, you can get a prepaid phone. So I would say for people who are going to be buying games, who want high quality games, the 3DS in some ways is a better deal. If you want cheap, affordable games, then maybe a prepaid Android phone for $100, or maybe an iPod Touch for $200. And then you'll have to, upgrade it down the road. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been mp4podcast.com signing out. And I hope you guys have an awesome day and stay warm. It's really, really chilly out there.